Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Dr. Courtney King here, Golden Road Medicine, and today I wanted to show you how to make my favorite detox broth. So I just got back from an awesome hike. It is finally really springtime here in Sonoma County, so excuse the lack of makeup and total messy hair because I wanted to come straight home and make this broth and show you guys. Pretty much first I just wanted to show you what all the vegetables are. I know not everybody's familiar with all of these things, and some of them are more important than others that you need to have in the broth, but you can kind of give and take. The ratios can be different and to taste. But I wanted to make sure you knew everything I was talking about so you can find it at the store if you don't already have it at home. So the first one on my list, I think the recipe is just kind of for some root vegetables. These are some of my favorite ones. This is a turnip, kind of purple and white, if you're not familiar with them. This one is, let's go next with parsnips here. So parsnips are pretty sweet, so they add a nice flavor to the broth. All of these root vegetables are really high in minerals. All of these foods are extremely detoxifying for different reasons, and they're all antioxidant. And this is a rutabaga. Rutabagas look a lot like turnips, kind of have that purplish on the bottom, and then they kind of do this cool like teardrop shape rutabaga here. And this one is called a daikon. This one is really important. It's a Japanese radish. This one is very detoxifying, especially for your kidneys. It's a diuretic, but it differs from caffeine being a diuretic in that it really helps get your kidneys clear. It gets a lot of things through. You do need to drink a lot of water on any detox, but this really helps detoxify your kidneys. Mushrooms. For those of you who know me, I love mushrooms. So here I'm going to use today some dried reishi mushrooms. They kind of look like this. These are shiitakes, and these are maitakes, which are awesome little guys, and they all taste fantastic. Greens, you need about 3 to 4 bunches of greens. You can choose whatever kind you want. I always like rainbow chard because of the diverse phytonutrients and all the different colors. I also today have picked up a kind of reddish purple kale and some collard greens. I'm from Georgia and we love collard greens. In the South, parsley is another green you can use. You can use a little bit of cilantro if you want. What else? Carrots and celery. They're in every good broth. Onion as well, every good broth. They really bring all the flavors together and make it taste so yummy. The other thing that really boosts the nutrient density in this broth is different kinds of seaweed. So if you're not familiar with different seaweeds, this one is more like a sheet. It's called kombu, and I probably won't use this much because if you use too much seaweed, it might give a little fishy flavor to your broth. I'll probably use 2 sheets, I would imagine. And this one is called wakame. I might be not pronouncing that correctly, but it's smaller chunks. Some of them are little twists like that. And then my very favorite one is hijiki. And this one is this really fine grained seaweed. Let me see if I can show you that, how little and tiny these are. These you just soak for a short amount of time. I throw them in eggs. That's really good. And then all of these, I make quinoa with these in the water. I use all of this stuff as much as I can, but for this detox, we'll do this detox broth, and you can drink as much of this broth as you want. So next I'm going to go wash everything and chop it up, and then I will come back to you to show you the different ratios and how much of each thing you want to put in the broth and how much water and all that. So see you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. Really, it didn't take very long. Everything, you don't have to chop things fine. Just a basic getting it chopped so it fits inside your container. I have a large Dutch pot here, and inside I already have the greens, just to show you how much I use. So it looks like it's practically full, but you don't have to get rid of the stems, like for instance, just big chunks, and kale, normally I get rid of the stems, but they all go in there because you just want to make it easy. Do not finely chop anything, like, you're not making coleslaw here, just big chunks, couple chunks in the onion, same thing. So put them, basically everything goes in the pot together. So it's gonna be pretty full, especially with all this cabbage. But look, I did not chop the cabbage very much. And this is all my root vegetables. See, I did a very basic peeling of the carrots, the rutabaga, the parsnips, and the turnips. They are also gonna go in there. Voila. So much of the water and the broth content is coming from these vegetables. So it looks like, how are we going to get room to even add water? I've got, very important, I use filtered water. The whole point of detoxifying is to get all the crap out of your body, and a lot of it comes from the water that you drink, that comes out of your tap, or that comes out of different places. So make sure you get a good filter and filter your water. This is 4 cups of water. It won't even touch it. So I'll keep pouring water over and over as I cook it. The only reason I'm not using the Instant Pot is because I want to keep adding water over about an hour and a half. I'll bring it to a boil and let it simmer for an hour and a halaf. Here's all the mushrooms here. We got the maitakes and the shiitakes. They're going to go right here on top. We're going to add, I'm going to put in the 3 reishi, the 2 kombu. I'm going to add, I don't know, like a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of the hajiki, and about the same amount of the wakame here. And then I'm going to turn it on. I'm actually going to get more water till it fills to about here. I'm going to turn it on, let it get to a boil. I'm going to let it simmer for about 90 minutes with the top on. After that, keep adding water if the water level goes down. And I'll bring you back to show you how to strain it. See you then. Okay, welcome back. So it's been a few hours. I ended up letting it roll for about 3 hours. You can let it roll on a low simmer overnight if you want. Just going to get a little bit more nutrients out of the veggies. So I've been letting it cool I let it roll for about 3 hours. It's been cooling for about an hour and a half or so. I've even done it where you strain it in the morning. So I just wanted to show you, now it kind of looks like, the vegetables are dead. So you can see that they look like most of the vitality has left them and gone into the water, which is now our broth. So I wanted to show you things that will make your life easier if you're going to become someone who makes broth more often. We got this set up for bone broth. It works great for any kind of broth that you're making. First is this strainer. It works with a regular strainer if you line it with the cheesecloth. That works fine. If you find yourself making a lot, this thing is worth the investment. At first I was a bit skeptical. My husband said we should get this thing. I think they're like 80 or 90 bucks. Amazon has them, but I will show you how easy this makes life. The brand is Matfer, Matfer Exo Glass. Anyway, comes highly recommended. If it's perfectly in this container like this, you can get the plastic container at any restaurant supply store, like a commercial one. Probably not Williams-Sonoma or something like that, just more of the restaurant supply store. If it's perfectly on top of it, so then you can just place it in your sink like this and grab, whether you're using an Instant Pot or whether you're using, I use this pot this time too because it actually holds a bit more than my Instant Pot. So then you just bring it over here and pour the liquid through. And if you miss a little, it's fine. You can always restrain it, but this does make it a little easier. Sometimes I do this on the floor, but you weren't going to be able to see that. So it looks like most of the liquid is coming out here. And then I will even take some of these veggies and scoop them in there and squeeze them out a little bit. So get my spoon. Still hot, so you do this for a few minutes. You can take like the seaweed out. See, look how big it gets. Toss that. But a lot of these veggies retain some of the broth, so it's worth getting a few more out. And then you just kind of squish them, and see, yeah, you get a lot more broth out of there. So after you've done that a few times with the rest of the veggies, so really just kind of smash them in with the back of the spoon is what I'm doing in here. And yep, it's getting a lot more liquid. So I'm going to continue doing that so it just makes like a smash really with these veggies. So you're getting all the nutrients and all the broth out. I will do that later. I will do the rest of it later, but for now, just show you this. And sometimes I'll just let it sit for another half hour and drain, but for the shortness of the video. And then you have your pre-washed jars ready to go. I prefer wide mouth jars. Now this is because a lot of times, especially with bone broth, we end up we end up freezing a lot of the broth. So you want the wide necked ones, because the ones that kind of go like this and have the less big necks, when it freezes, it can break the jar because of the angle. So this is great for freezing. The only other thing, if you want to freeze the broth to use it for later, is you want to leave a little bit extra. We're going to drink this out of the fridge, so I'm going to go ahead and fill these guys up pretty well. I ended up using 16 or 18 cups of water throughout the process of this boiling. I used about 16 cups, and then I'll probably get one more full one of these out when I do the rest of the broth. So these are beautiful. Look at this color. This purple is from the cabbage and the purple kale and all the wonderful colors, and it tastes really good. The only other thing that I add before I drink it is I use some Himalayan pink salt, and you can do that to taste. If you're not someone who can have salt, don't add the salt, but I like the way that tastes. So this is the detox broth. So, oh, it's so good. It's really sweet. You can taste the parsnips and the carrots, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Take care.